Let's identify the slopes. We discussed about the slopes. The slopes are nothing but it shows the steepness of a line. Change in y over change in x. Slope of a vertical line, it implies that change in y over 0. And whenever we have a denominator as 0, our slope is undefined. Right? So this is called undefined slope when we have 0 in the denominator. We have a denominator. And vertical line, it has undefined slope. That is why for a linear equation, we need to see whether a graph satisfies the vertical line test or not. On the other hand, slope of a horizontal line is 0. Why? Because again, numerator is 0 in this case, but the denominator change in x, it remains the same. So when the numerator is 0, it means the slope is 0. And that is a slope of a horizontal line. So horizontal line, let's say if we have a graph, something like this, it is my horizontal line, right? If I draw a graph for a vertical line, it is a vertical line and it cannot pass the vertical line test, but the horizontal, it can pass. Based on that, we will be able to solve few questions related to these. Okay. In this case, they are asking us find the slope of a line and they have given us one equation. If we remember the slope-intercept form says y is equal to mx plus b, in which m implies for the slope and b means y-intercept. Now what is an intercept? Y-intercept means when x is 0. So in the coordinate plane, it is nothing but the ordering pairs. We can write 0 and b. X is 0, that is why we have the value of b as the intercept. So based on this criteria, whatever is there with the x, that is the m. So in this case, what is there with x? We have negative 1/2. So my slope will be negative 1/2. As always, I will box my answers. Okay, let's try question number 2. X is equal to 3. I tried to graph it. So if I say x is 3 here, again, x-axis is horizontal and y-axis is vertical. If I try to graph it, there is no y value, right? That means there is a y value. Y value keeps on fluctuating it, but the x value will remain static, right? But in this equation, you might say, oh, they haven't defined any y value. Yes, there is no y value in the equation, but that doesn't mean there is no y value. That means x is 3. That's only they want. And when x is 3, that means we will have a vertical line because there is only one value that they have mentioned, and when I try to sketch it, it will form a vertical line. And we did it earlier here. When we have a vertical line, the slopes are undefined. So in this case, x is equal to 3 and it gives us one vertical line. My answer will be undefined slope. Let's try two more. Now another concept. Finding the slope of a line perpendicular, and in the next question they are asking about parallel. Let's understand it a little bit. How these work. If I say the lines are perpendicular. Lines are perpendicular will happen when the one line is horizontal and the one line is vertical, right? then only the perpendicular happens. Perpendicular happens when they form a 90-degree angle, right? So based on that, if the slope of a one line is say 2 and the slope of a perpendicular line slope will be negative 1/2. Why? Because it is negative reciprocal. That is the main idea. So slope of a perpendicular line will always be negative reciprocal. Always remember that. Make the number change the sign. If it is negative, it will become positive. If it is positive, then it will become negative and it will turn into half. Because it is 2, it will turn into half. If let's say the slope was 3, it will turn into negative 1/3. So it will become a reciprocal, it will go in the denominator and it will be negative. You might ask, what will happen if the slope is 1/3? Okay, I will do the same process. I will change the sign. This is m1 and the slope for the perpendicular line. Instead of negative, it will become positive. Okay, and 1/3 will become 3. Okay. Based on that, let's try to figure out what is going on here. They said x is equal to negative 3. Let's try to graph it. Negative 3 is here and x is negative 3, so it will give me a vertical line. When it will give me a vertical line, a line that will be perpendicular to this line needs to have a horizontal. It will be a horizontal line. And if it is a horizontal line, the slope will be 0. Let's go back again. Again and again, you need to keep in mind that the slope of a vertical line is always undefined and the slope of a parallel line is 0. Okay, as we were discussing about, slope of a vertical line is undefined and slope of a horizontal line is 0. So in this case, x is equal to negative 3, we have a vertical line. And a line perpendicular to a vertical line will be a horizontal line, right? And the slope of a horizontal line is 0. So in this case, a line perpendicular to x is equal to negative 3 will have a slope of 0. Let's try one more time. Let's identify what is the slope in y is equal to negative x plus 4. Slope of this line is negative 1 because it's negative x. That means it is nothing but negative 1 times x. And slope of a perpendicular line will be negative reciprocal of the original line. So if I make negative of a negative 1, that will give me positive, and 1 over 1, which is nothing but 1. So slope of a perpendicular line is n is equal to 1. Okay, now finding the slope of a line parallel. What is going on in here? Whenever we have parallel lines have the same slope. But different y-intercepts. This is important. And you need to keep that thing in mind. If you're writing the notes, write them properly. Okay. Let's identify what is the slope of this given line. X is standing alone. That means it is 1 times x. Slope of this line is 1. What will be the slope of a parallel line? So slope of a parallel line, I can say it is m2, which is also equal to 1. my answer. Again in this question, we are stuck. There is no y value. I understand there is no y value. Try to understand using a graph. X is -4. 4, 4. Right? We have a line. Let me make it more neat. This is -4. Right? X is equal to -4. I need a line parallel to this one. Now, a line would be parallel to this one. What will happen? It is a vertical line, right? This is vertical. And a line parallel to a vertical line will also be a vertical line. If it is a vertical line, then the slope of a vertical line is undefined. That is why these two concepts that I have mentioned earlier, slope of a vertical line and slope of a horizontal line. Understand them. Don't memorize it. Try to graph them to make it more sensible. Okay, let's try to find the slope of this line. Now they have provided you the graph. So my first line of action would be to identify what are these two given points. And if I just calculate on the graph, I can see it is going 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 units on X and 1, 2 down. So 4 and -2. Let's try the another point. So -1 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Down again, it is -4. -1 and -4. I have 2 points. Let's label them. This is x2, y2, x1, y1. Right. The slope formula, which is y2 minus y1, which is change in y, change in x is x2 minus x1. Plug everything back. Y2 is -4. I will put my negative sign. I will see what is y1. Y1 is -2. Again, -2. Right? X2 is -1. Don't forget a negative sign. First put the negative sign and then see what is the another value. X1 is 4. Okay. Now let's try to solve it. -4 minus and minus will become positive. -1, -4, it will give me -2, -5, and negative and negative will cancel out. My answer is 2/5. That's what we always wanted to know. I hope it makes sense.